Hi, I'm Sue Sylvanians, and I make videos about Sylvanian families, also known as calico critters. And recently, I have been making lots of winter hats for my Sylvanian figures, so I thought I'd show you how to make them too. They're easy to make, good for the cold season, and just look cute on the figures. So here are all the hats I've made so far, and if I get Freddie Buckley, you can see the basic hat is made up of two pieces. The main hat part, which has holes for ears, and the band, which goes over and holds the hat in place. Okay, so in this video I'm going to make a hat for Jessica Sunny. Her ears stick out, so I'll have to make holes for them. But luckily I've designed patterns for a variety of animals. You can download this PDF from the link in the description and use that to make your own hats. I like using tracing paper or baking paper for my patterns because it's thinner and more easy to bend around the figures. Here's the child-sized rabbit pattern. And now I just need to decide which colour of felt to use. Okay, so I'm going to go with purple felt for Jessica. I then fix the pattern onto the felt with a couple of pins. And smooth it out nicely. And then I drew around the outline with pencil. If you have a proper fabric pencil or chalk, that would also work. And then with my sharp fabric scissors, just cut it out. I did it roughly at first, and then went round it more closely. I did around the ear holes off camera to get a bit closer to the edge. And then I can take the pins and pattern off. Okay, so let's try that on. It's good around the sides and on top. But I think it covers her eyes too much. So I'm going to just trim along this edge here. There. That makes all the difference. Right, and then these edges need sewing together. I don't have lilac thread, but this dark purple will do. So tie a knot in the end. And I'm using a narrow needle, so the holes I make when sewing will be less visible. Okay, finally on to sewing. I try and make my stitches between the edges of the fabric rather than on the surface. And join it to the second side. And sew back and forth, going down the entire edge. Then tie it off with a couple of knots. And snip off the excess. So trying it on Jessica again. And I think that looks good. For the band, I want a contrast, so I'm going to use this cream felt. There's a pattern again on the PDF, but for children it's about a 9.5cm strip of felt. just checking it on. And then this is where I'm going to join it together. I'm just sewing along the edges again in a cream coloured thread. Then tie off the ends. Okay, now I'm ready to put the finished hat together. Purple part goes on first. Then I use the cream band to hold the unsewn side together too. Just pushing it to the bottom of the hat. There. I think that looks good. I could put this bit of fluff on top like a pom-pom. No, I think I'll leave it plain for now. So this is how the rabbit style hat looks on another figure, which is Claire Chocolate, just in different colours. And then these three figures are all wearing hats in the same pattern with a band around the bottom. They have larger ear holes compared to the rabbit pattern. And again, once you've cut the pattern out, just sew down one side. Then for beavers and otters, they have small ears that don't need a cutout. On the left, Evelyn Woodbrook has the band as usual, but for Shelley Neptune on the right, I did something slightly different. I used a whip stitch to attach some wool at the brim and some tufts of fluffy wool where her ears would be. On this pattern you need to sew all the way up both sides, and there's an extra cutout on the back which needs sewing together too. This acts like a dart to make the hat fit the head better. And then the final child-sized pattern I've created is for the fennec foxes. This is Jasmine Fennec, who gets her own special pattern due to those large ears, and another cutout on the back. Just sew that up, then one side like the rabbits. Babies also need their own hats. So these are two using the rabbit pattern. For Creme, I did a whip stitch with wool at the brim, but still left a gap for the ear on this side, which helps it to be put on and off. And then another tuft of wool on top. Just one figure using the deer pattern. Perry Buckley has the regular hat with a band and a little ball on top like a pom-pom. Caleb Fennick has an individual pattern like his sister, which has a little notch at the back too. And finally, this is Ethan Woodbrook wearing the otter or beaver pattern. So this has 3 seams to sew up, one on each side and one on the back. And I did blanket stitch around the bottom for a different look to the band. And those are all the hats I've made. I would love to see any hats you make with my patterns, and I'm happy to explain anything which isn't clear, especially as this is my first kind of instructional video I've posted. So thank you for watching to the end, and subscribe to my channel for more Sylvanian updates, news and unboxings.